Right, so you're looking to learn SEO, and in my opinion, the best way to learn is to look at how other people are doing it, successful ones, of course, and try and replicate exactly what they're doing. So that's why in this video, I've compiled 4 in-depth case studies of 4 of the biggest companies in the world, from Airbnb to Product Hunt and 2 others. And I'm going to show you exactly what they're doing, why they're doing it, and how you can do the same. Because again, in my opinion, that's the best way you can learn, is by watching what other successful companies are doing and replicate it on your own site. So with that being said, let's get started. And the first company that I'm going to cover is Airbnb. Today, I want to talk about Airbnb. Right, I'm sure you know who they are. They're a publicly traded company worth around $75 billion, right? And I want to talk about what they are, right? And exactly how they're using SEO and organic traffic to essentially grow the business, right? There's a lot we have to cover here. I'm going to go very deep into what they're doing exactly. So if you're doing SEO or if you're building a listing website, this is definitely going to be a video I want to watch, because there's going to be a lot of things I say here that tell you exactly how you can grow a business just like Airbnb. Of course, takes years to do it, but these bases are fundamental. So let's get straight into it. First things first is, what is Airbnb, right? I won't spend too much time on this because I'm going to show you what it is. Airbnb essentially is a listing or directory or marketplace website, right? They have on the front page all the listings they have available, right? These are UGC, so user generated listings, right? And as a user, you can pick and choose which one you want. And then of course they have a dedicated page to the listing. Now, this is a very simplistic view of what Airbnb actually is, right? But essentially it boils down to them being a listing directory, marketplace type website, right? How do they make money? How do listing websites make money? There's essentially 3 main things: transaction fees, paying to post a listing, so paying to post one of these, or ads, right? Airbnb essentially takes a transaction fee, right? Pretty straightforward. How much money can they make? Well, last year they made $8.4 billion, right? So the conclusion here is that listing sites have a lot of potential to make money, right? So this is essentially what Airbnb is. Now, let's go over exactly what they're doing in terms of user acquisition through SEO, right? Because yes, they pay for ads. Yes, you might have seen their billboards. So there's a lot of things that a brand like Airbnb does to acquire users. But if you're just starting out, most likely if you're building a listing site or a directory, whatever, most likely you'll have the money to spend on those big billboards or big PPC campaigns, right? Pay-per-click. So here's what they're doing through SEO, which is, in my opinion, of course, I'm a bit biased, one of the best ways to acquire users. So let's go over the first thing. So what is SEO? Of course, SEO means they're ranking their site higher in search engines like Google or Bing for keywords their target customers are searching for. This is super, super important, because you don't want to be doing SEO for keywords their customers aren't searching for, because otherwise you'll be wasting time. Now, first things first, what they're doing is programmatic SEO. Now, I won't dive too deep into what it is. I have a video solely on that, which you can, actually it's for another listing website called Nomad List. This is essentially a, I guess, Airbnb style listing directory site, but for places, right? For cities in the world where nomads can go to. But essentially, again, a listing website, which most of them benefit a lot from programmatic SEO, right? So what is Airbnb doing in terms of programmatic SEO? Essentially, they're doing templated pages. And I'll go over an example and all that in just a second. And what's the outcome? Well, the outcome is the ability to mass create pages for any location, right? Again, the goal is to target as many location-based keywords as possible. Now, what does this mean? It means that they're building their pages like this. So airbnb.com/city/stays. And so let's go over here an example on exactly what this means. So if we go to, for example, Airbnb here, and I mean, we can just go to Ahrefs real quick and then go here to top subfolders. What we're going to see is that the top subfolders here are going to be this stays page. So for example, airbnb.com/city name/stays, right? What else we have here? Then we'll cover this one in just a second, but yeah, /Orlando, Florida, /stays. So let's just open a couple of these ones, which I already had open up here. This one is for the US. This one, let's see here. This one is for Orlando, Florida, right? Again, we can open a couple more here so that I can make my point across. This one's for Las Vegas, this one for Miami. You'll see something similar here. All these pages are essentially all the same, right? As you can see, the only thing that's changing is up there the URL structure right here with the city name changing, and here the H1. This is an H1. If we do this, inspect element right here, we can see that this is of course an H1, right? Header 1, which is essentially if you can talk a bit more about technical SEO, which I'll talk in just a second, it's what essentially tells Google what the main thing this page is about. So if I can just copy this real quick and put it in here in this browser, just click this little extension. As you can see here, the headings, they have two H1s, Las Vegas vacation rentals and your guide to Las Vegas. Now this isn't recommended to have two H1s because this can confuse Google. But so yeah, if I were to have any recommendation to Airbnb, I would say just only have one, but who am I to speak on this? Might just be a little bug. So yeah, that's the first thing you're gonna notice, sorry. These pages all look the same, right? All of them look the same. And what they're doing here is creating these templated pages for all the cities: Las Vegas, Myrtle Beach, Nashville, San Diego, New York City, Atlanta, Lake Tahoe. So all of these ones are the same. And what they do here is essentially location name, vacation rentals. You have the call to action here above the fold, right? They have the top rated for vacation rentals in Las Vegas, right? Keyword here. Again, it's going to be the same. Keyword here, top rated vacation rentals in Miami. Keyword, again, the same thing for Orlando. Then you have the top rentals here, right? Another one right here. And then all this listings. Las Vegas homes listing. It should be Miami homes down here. Of course, homes in Miami, right? All these are the same. So this is the first thing they're doing in regards to their programmatic SEO. And of course, down here, they have a guide to Las Vegas, which again, they're going to have one to Miami right here. Your guide to Miami. And this one's going to be your guide to Orlando, Florida, right? All of these are programmatic, ideally, or essentially one-click generated pages, which talk about the city, right? This, first of all, making a guide for Las Vegas makes it so this page, the Las Vegas page stays, is very location relevant, which is, of course, what you want, right? When someone's searching for a homestay or a rental house in Las Vegas, or even if they don't include the Las Vegas term, but they're in Las Vegas, Google's going to know that this page should show up because it is tailored and niched down to the location Las Vegas, right? So they all have all this here. Again, all these pages have all this here. So that's the first thing they're doing. Now, the second thing they're doing is internal linking, which is super, super important, both from a user standpoint, but also from a search engine standpoint, right? So as you can see here, they're linking out to all the nearby destinations, right? So interlinking is something that when you do it, it cannot be random, right? It has to make sense. You wouldn't link to a city that's 1,000 miles away or 1,000 kilometers away, sorry. You should link to the ones that are more close by. What they're doing here is like so, even though these are a bit far away, right? But they're linking to different destinations where you can rent a house. And all of these, of course, are, as you can see, the URL structure is all the same, just like we saw here, /city/stays, and all the pages are exactly the same. Every single page is exactly the same with your guide to San Diego, right? This is what programmatic SEO is. And with this, they're able to generate hundreds of thousands of these location-based pages in just a click of a button. Now, things you have to make sure that you do is, of course, have a clean URL structure. This helps, of course, search engines as well as users. Internal links to relevant pages, again, this helps search engines as well as users, right? Super, super important. One thing they're also doing is the breadcrumbs. It helps with user experience as well. So if you go scroll down here to any of these pages, you see where you're at the moment, right? So Airbnb, homepage, US, Nevada, and then even a county inside of here, right? So this helps users, and users do use it a lot. So this is a great little thing that they're doing, but it is important. Of course, checking the technical SEO like I did before. So checking the H1s right here, how many H1s they have, what the H1s say, right? So this page is telling Google that the main thing about this page is location, vacation rentals, right? Super, super important. Of course, I'm sure they have a robots.txt here as well. And of course, in a sitemap too, that's super, super important. I'm sure they have a meta image right here. So when you post this link on social media or any other Facebook, LinkedIn, Twitter, this image is going to pop up. So this one right down here. So super, super important that you have this. So all these little things focusing on technical SEO, they're doing everything. So that's a big win for them. And of course, all these end up being UGC, so user generated pages. So all these here, these aren't properties from Airbnb, right? Airbnb didn't create all these listings, right? Users created this. So they're leveraging user-generated content on these pages, right? So, for example, I think Canva does this as well. I have a case study on them. They have these design pages where they leverage designs generated by users. So as a listing website, as a marketplace, as a directory, right? You have the ability, because all your all your assets are assets made by your users, right? The listings are your assets, so you have to find ways to leverage them. And of course, Airbnb is doing a great job with that. Now, moving on to the next part of the programmatic SEO is the city /stays/unique stays. And this was a great business move, and I'll go over that in just a second now, but it is the same thing essentially. It's templated pages, which allows them to create pages at scale, good user experience, and conversion rate optimization. I'll show you here in a second. Let me just close all of this. I mean, even because of the internal linking, you can check the pages on here. So I'm in the Las Vegas page. They say here other types of stays on Airbnb. So if we, unique stays on Airbnb. So we got tree houses, camper rentals, tiny house rentals, glamping, lake house rentals, beach house rentals, cabin rentals. Now, all of these became very popular in the last few years, I'd say 2 to 3 years. And they have dedicated pages, not just dedicated pages to tree houses, location, right? Dedicated pages to tree houses. As you can see here, H1 should be this one. As you can see here, the H1 is of course tree house rentals. Makes perfect sense, right? They want to let search engines know that this page is about tree house rentals. And again, they have dedicated pages, UGC content right here, so user generated content right here, internal linking to different parts of this of the US, right? Different places right here, and this goes again to the listing part of the site. And then if you scroll down here, again, pretty custom with the breadcrumbs. So they have these templated pages that they're using on every single thing, right? Even the unique stays pages. And reason being why this is a smart move. By the way, these unique stays again are tree houses, camper vans, tiny homes, domes or bungalows, right? And they're grabbing a bunch of these keywords. So for example, for cabin rentals, beach house rentals, look at the search volume these keywords have, right? It's insane. Beach house, tree house, camper. So every single month, tree house rentals get 13,000 searches every single month. That's just for the keyword tree house rentals. What about rented tree house or rented tree house in the US, rented tree house in Texas? So there's a bunch of different keywords that can stem from this one, right? And you can increase this number by tenfold if sometimes, right? So super interesting. And again, as you can see here, the pages are ranking for this. United States /tree houses. This page gets 20,000 users every single month. They're ranking for tree house rentals. This one gets 15,000. Tiny homes for rent, 13,000. Beach house rentals, Airstream rentals, glamping near me, rent a yurt, 3,000. That's something that's super specific. This is a yurt, right? Rent a yurt rentals. So they're capitalizing on this new trend of renting these more weird type of houses, not conventional houses, and creating dedicated pages for every single one of them. And if for some reason a new type of stay pops off, for example, I don't know, cave rentals, sleep in a cave, I'm sure they'll do the same, right? And I'm sure they'll rank first for it because they're leveraging, of course, their brand power and their domain authority, because their domain is super authoritative, as you can see here. They have a domain rating of 92. If they create a page for cave rentals, if they want to create it, they just can create it just like so with a simple click of a button, because they have the template already made. You can just pull in all the cave rentals from the user generated content, and then all this should be the same. Just change a couple of images here, and there you have it. You have dedicated pages for new business ventures that can pop off. That's why I call this a smart business move, right? Using this the templated and programmatic SEO thinking on these types of pages, right? Now, they do the exact same thing on the luxury market. If you just go for airbnb.com/luxury, I think that's the one. Yeah, they have this separated website for luxury, right? And if we do this, right, let me see here. I mean, we can just put it in Ahrefs. If we go here and just search for airbnb.com/luxury and go to the top pages, we can see that these are just listing ones. Let me see here. Let me just do this, and let me just go scroll down here. Most likely, yeah, they have it all here. So more Airbnb Lux destinations, right? They have it by country and by the most Lux destinations, for example, in the French Alps, because yes, you can just search for the French Alps, but there are different, for example, ski resorts. So they're targeting every single one of these pages, and I guarantee you that all of these are programmatically done. As you can see here, they're all the same. Once again, all the same. One thing that changes is the H1 and the URL structure, right? Every single page of this is the exact same, right? With down here, they haven't done the the one that they had in Las Vegas. So what to do in Las Vegas, or right, they're not writing a blog down here, but I'm sure, for example, for the France page, they are, as you can see here, are all about France, right? All this down here. So they're doing the exact same thing. This works, right? Canva also is doing the same. Zapier is also doing the same. So this as an SEO strategy works great because, I mean, they're doing it. They are billion-dollar companies raking in a ton of traffic. So this works. So again, for the luxury market, for the more hype, I guess, trendy market with these unique stays, and of course for the quote-unquote regular market for just any city, any type of stay, apartment, house, whatever, they're doing programmatic SEO for all that. So super interesting. Now moving on to branded versus non-branded search terms. As you know, brands take years to build. Of course, you cannot just build a brand in a couple of months or even a year, right? And brands are built on content and authority, and content builds authority, right? If you want to build a brand, you got to put yourself out there, got to do videos, got to do content, got to do podcasts, all that on a more smaller scale, right? But you got to start somewhere. And the content production is the best way to do it, right? Now, what's interesting to see here is that Airbnb's traffic, and I took this from SimilarWeb right here, Airbnb's traffic, most of it, of course, is direct, but the second biggest traffic source is organic search, right? So 14% of Airbnb's traffic comes from search engines like Bing or Google. So you can just imagine, out of the market cap they have and out of the $8.4 billion they made last year, how much this comes into play and how much organic search traffic generates in terms of revenue for Airbnb. As you can probably tell, it's a couple of billions, most likely. So super interesting. And they're running some ads as well, but the ads are much less than the organic search volume. So super interesting. Now, one thing we do have to look at is recently, the last couple of years, organic keywords on Airbnb were down, but traffic went up, right? So as you can see here, these are the organic keywords. Let's start measuring from January 2021. They're going down, right? Organic keywords as a whole are going down, but traffic is steadily going up, or even stagnating a bit, sorry, but most likely it's going up, right? Now, why this is interesting? Let me just go over here to Airbnb. If we go to Airbnb.com and go to their the overview and then go organic search, we can see clearly that the number of keywords, so ranking from, for example, on the top 3, so 1 to 3 is 106,000, right? Now we go down here and the total amount of keywords ranking goes down, right? We go from around 5 million to 3 million, right? But you can notice that the number of top 3 rankings, in this case is 115,000, right here is 160,000. So the overall keyword rankings dropped down, but the overall top 3 rankings went up. That's why, part of the reason that the traffic didn't go down, right? Even though the keywords went down. This is super interesting because it means that they're optimizing the pages for, they're not just targeting random keywords, they're optimizing for the keywords that give them the most traffic, right? Which is very smart. And this also ties in with the brand power. How so? Because most likely, and they're ranking for a lot of branded keywords, right? And that was achieved through the investment in more branded marketing. And they have an article on Wall Street Journal or New York Times about that, about investing more on brand, right? Like the billboards you see saying just Airbnb, right? Investing in brand and leveraging all the years that they've building out their brand to rank higher for more branded keywords. If we go here, for example, to Ahrefs and just go exactly to the keywords that they're ranking for, organic keywords, you're going to see, of course, that's a given. Most of them are Airbnb, right? Most of the keywords that they're ranking for are Airbnb, either that's wrongly spelled or correctly spelled, but most of them have Airbnb in the name, right? Airbnb, all the keywords ranking in the top 100, the ones that get the more traffic, are keywords with the brand name in it. And this, of course, just goes to show that the power of the brand that they've built throughout the years is surpassing the power of the organic keywords for example, cabins near me, or cabins rentals, or luxury home rentals, right? The brand is super important. This is a bit of a tangent, but it is important to understand that when you're building a brand and your SEO strategy, it always needs to be around a brand and how you position yourself in terms of your brand. Super important. Now, Just to finish this off, before I talk about my final point here, is optimizing pages that fulfill the user's search intent. So what I mean by this is they're targeting every single keyword that a user that wants to rent any place, anywhere, can possibly search for. What I mean by this is place, they have pages targeting houses, apartments, luxury stays, camper vans, tree houses, bungalows, right? Anywhere, any city, any country. They also have these special location pages, for example, Joshua Tree National Park, so targeting national parks. They're going very granular in the way that they're targeting their customers. And so this is more or less of an overview of Airbnb's organic acquisition for users through SEO and how they're making money with it. Because at the end of the day, Airbnb is a listing website, and there's a lot of potential to make money with listing websites, because listing websites are just a fantastic way to gather in one place a curated and vetted amount of things, whether that's, for example, house listings like Airbnb, whether that's, for example, people like on Vetted, where we gather SEO experts, right? Marketplaces and listing sites and directories. And their inherent value comes from the aggregation and the conjunction of you being able to join all these valuable things that you do not own, right? Airbnb doesn't own their property, but they're able to aggregate and have one place on the internet where other users can come and benefit from what other users are selling. So that's the whole benefit of a listing website, right? You can make money without owning any asset, without owning any people. Of course, not that you own people, but you get my point, right? And this is true for a lot of businesses out there. Airbnb, Upwork, Fiverr, Vetted, all of these marketplace directory listing websites benefit from user-generated content, right? And they're a great way to make money. Now, of course, you cannot just spin up a website and make money with it. You have to have, of course, a proper marketing strategy in place. And Airbnb's strategy for user acquisition through organic SEO is very, very smart. So that's why I wanted to let you know on that. Now, if you do have interest in creating a listing type of a website and the whole how it works behind the scenes, how you can actually make money with it and scale it, let me know in the comments and I'll DM you a link. I think I can DM you on YouTube. If not, I'll just comment below the link to see if you're interested. I'll also leave it in the description. So yeah, if you're interested in starting a business like this, it does, of course, consume a lot of work, but it can be very, very profitable. So yeah, let me know. This is being a long video. Thank you so much for watching. Make sure to like, subscribe, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers. Right, so you've probably heard of AppSumo. They're essentially a listing website for mostly software tools that make around $60 million a year, right? And on this video, I want to cover what their business and SEO strategy is that essentially gets them 15% of their traffic coming from search engines like Google or Bing. So I'm going to cover it all. I'm going to give you some tips. So let's just get started. And actually, this isn't public, but they seem to be making $80 million a year now. And again, this is a quote unquote simple type of business. It is essentially a listing site, though simple definitely doesn't mean easy, right? So let's get started with the video. So first of all, AppSumo, they've been around for a lot of years now. And of course, their domain power, domain rating is 82. They have almost 2 million backlinks, as we can see here. So 2 million backlinks right here. Different tools give you different numbers, and a monthly organic traffic of 200,022 users every single month, mostly from the United States. Okay, so one thing that's key about AppSumo is their distribution. Now, this is key in any single business, but AppSumo does it very well. I'm going to first talk about distribution, and then I'm going to talk about their SEO strategy. So, distribution, of course, there's more things to it, but these are the main ones. Their distribution channels are their blog, their email list, and their YouTube. They also have TikTok and Instagram, but this is mostly short form content, which nowadays essentially just leads people to a longer form videos on YouTube, and that's been the trend all over the world at the moment. Not to say that people cannot go from short form content, TikTok and Insta, to their website and know about the brand that way. They can, but most times what happens is the content on YouTube is chopped up and syndicated to these platforms, but then people will go here eventually. So now, one thing in common between the blog and the YouTube is that people reach the blog and people reach YouTube through a search engine, right? To reach articles on the blog, they have to search on Google or Bing or any other search engine. YouTube is the same, right? Of course, YouTube recommends you content, but at the end of the day, it is a search engine, much like TikTok, and Insta. Now, again, between the blog and YouTube, traffic comes from a search engine. either it's Google, Bing, or YouTube. It is a search engine. And traffic can come from internal links, for example, blog articles. So you have a blog on AppSumo, a blog post, which can link and does link to multiple other blogs, right? Or, for example, recommended videos. When you're on YouTube, you might see a video from AppSumo pop up if it is relevant. Just like an internal link on the blog will only link to an article if it is relevant, right? The thing about YouTube as a search engine is that other blogs or other videos that have, for example, from competing companies can recommend your video. Now, if you had a blog for a competing company, most likely you would not link to AppSumo, though, for example, if you had an article on Forbes talking about software companies, you could link to AppSumo. Hopefully that makes sense. And finally, traffic comes from backlinks. Other blogs, just like I said, for example, a backlink from Forbes linking to AppSumo, or other videos linking to AppSumo, or recommendations, which don't really work as a backlink, but do drive traffic that way, right? So that's the first thing I want to talk about. Now, of course, one thing they're doing very well on their YouTube is that they essentially have videos for every single listing. Not all, but almost. And this is where the money and the business comes in for AppSumo, right? Because how would you promote a listing site? And they're very clever on how they do it. The first thing is distribution on YouTube, right? They record videos. All these videos are, for example, let's say this one, add audio, video, and laser pointers, right? This is AirDeck, right? One of the softwares listed here. Let's click this one. And the way they're promoting their listings is through video on their own socials, right? They also send out emails. That's why I mentioned here the email list, right? So they're creating unique pieces of content for every single listing on their website. It's much like Airbnb, for example, would create pieces of content for their most extravagant houses, right? Or their camper vans or their luxurious homes, right? For example, let's say there was a luxurious home in Bali. They were to create this amazing piece of content showing the pool, the scenery, the house, right? That would be very smart, in my opinion, from a marketing standpoint for Airbnb. Creating content and using the listings on their own site, whether that's houses, software, whatever it is, and leveraging that user input to create pieces of content that then drives traffic again to the brand, right? Because this on YouTube, essentially AppSumo is leveraging their users' content, and then it is an infinite loop, back to AppSumo, right? And again, they're also leveraging short form content. This is a clip from a video, one of these videos. All these are essentially clips. Some of them are not, but most of them are clips. And they're again syndicating it to Instagram as well. So that's that. Now, they also have the blog, which I'll talk about in the second part of this video. And one thing they do have that's quite interesting in terms of a business standpoint is these freebies, right? They also have free listings. Like most of these are paid, but they also give access users to free listings, right? Quite interesting to have a listing site with free listings. I'm unsure if people pay to be here or people pay to be up here, right? But if they do, it is again another revenue driver for AppSumo. Because the main one is, of course, they're taking a fee to list services here or listings here. I talked about Product Hunt yesterday, and I talked about Airbnb, they take a fee. On AppSumo, they also take a fee, right? So there's different ways you can use to monetize a listing website. Now, they put in a lot of effort into social, as you can see here. A lot of effort goes into this. However, organic search is still the second biggest growth driver after, of course, direct traffic, right? Direct traffic, of course, will always be the biggest one, but organic search accounts for 15% of the traffic, right? So people coming in from organic searches account for 15% of AppSumo's $80 million a year business, right? So you can do the math. Of course, it won't be direct proportion, but $80 million a year, part of it is generated by this 15% in organic search traffic. So you can imagine how much value and what's the worth of this traffic, right? And how are they generating that much traffic? It is with their blog. Now, it is not just a simple blog. It has a lot to it, which is super interesting to talk about. Now, if you take here to look at the top pages for AppSumo, most of the top pages on the site, or meaning the pages that get the most traffic, are pages on their blog, right? You can see here as well, most of the pages that get the most traffic, this is the monthly traffic or the monthly clicks, are pages from the blog, right? You can see here as well on this tool. I'll leave a link for this in the description as well if you want to test it out. Most of the pages on their site are from blog, right? Most of the pages that get the most traffic are pages on their blog. So the blog is driving a lot of traffic to their main business, which is the whole point of a blog. Now, it is very well crafted, and I want to go over exactly the 8 things they're doing to make sure the blog is as valuable as an asset as possible in converting these 15% into paying customers, okay? So first things first is knowing who your target customer is. This is very, very important, right? Because if you don't know who your target customer is, you cannot develop and implement a proper SEO strategy for it, because you're just going to be spending money, just creating content just because, or creating content for the wrong type of people. Right? So you need to create content for the right type of people, and you do that by focusing on the ICP, right? Your ideal customer profile. In the case of AppSumo, you're essentially solopreneurs, online creators, digital marketers, and small agencies. That's the ICPs for AppSumo, ideal customer profile. So again, it's essential to know who you're targeting to develop and implement a successful SEO strategy, because again, if you don't know who you're targeting, you're just going to be spending money just because. Right, it's the first thing, and I know I covered it fast, but it's super, super, super important, right? Even before keyword research, knowing who you're targeting is super, super important. Now, second one is the post frequency. Post frequently and update old content. People often tend to not update old content. One thing AppSumo does very well is they keep on updating and reviving old content, right? Because if the content has value, if it is evergreen, you might as well update it often as you can to make sure people keep on seeing it, right? Because if you spend hours and hours writing a long, informative piece of content, you don't want it to get old and depreciated, right? You want people to see it again in an updated fashion, right? And as you know, SEO is a long-term game, so determining the frequency of posts is crucial for SEO. Starting with 1 SEO optimized post per week and gradually increasing to 2 or 3 or more can help establishing consistency and targeting a wide range of keywords, right? The whole reason why you'd want to post more frequently is to target a wider range of keywords, thus bringing in more and more customers, right? For example, HubSpot publishes multiple times a day, but HubSpot is a very, very multi-million dollar company, just like AppSumo, of course, but AppSumo, from what I've read, they focus on creating superior pieces of content. For example, like Ahrefs, they don't post content every single day. They focus on posting more in-depth content and more, I'd say, valuable content instead of just pumping out any type of content. Not that HubSpot pumps out low-quality content, but I think you get my point, right? Third, and only now, is keyword research. Now, what they're doing is by narrowing down their target audience, we're not targeting everyone, they're able to niche down on topics they write about. Right? So before you do keyword research, you need to niche down on your topics. Super, super important. Now, what I find interesting is how AppSumo was able to narrow down on their topics. They essentially asked 2 questions. This is super interesting, right? How do we connect our free content with our products, right? And we can delete this for now. It doesn't really matter here, right? So how do we connect our free content with our products, right? How do we connect these free posts, right? 10 best podcast recording softwares and apps, free and paid. How do you connect someone reading this with buying the actual products you recommend, right? And what are something others are doing that works, okay? With the goal being to attract users to the blog that convert into paying customers, meaning buying AppSumo listed products. So the whole goal is to get people from the blog to AppSumo to buy these, any of these products they have listed here. As you can see, these are all in different niches, right? Content marketing, video, calendar, and scheduling, right? A customer that buys, for example, a productivity product might not be the same that buys a stock photo product, right? Even though the ICP is somewhat clear, it's still somewhat broad, right? Solopreneurs and content creators and digital marketers and agencies, it's still quite broad, right? Because of course, AppSumo is a listing site, a marketplace, a directory, website, whatever you want to call it. They inherently we're going to have multiple niches. For example, just like Vetted.com, the marketplace I own and run, you can call it a listing site, you can call it a directory, even though we're just focused around SEO, right? We still have different types of services. For example, a knowledge panel creation, a content brief, backlink app analysis, backlinks building, Wikipedia pages, content creation. We have a bunch of stuff, right? We are essentially a marketplace or a directory site as well. Now, my point here is that by asking these 2 questions, with the goal of attracting users to the blog that convert, you're able to tailor the blog specifically to these users and tailor it in a way that gets people from the blog to paying customers. Now, the way you do this is through number 8, which I'll cover in just a second. Now, search intent matching is also super, super important, because a big part of getting ranked on Google, because it's from Google that they get most of the traffic, is matching the user search intent. Super, super important. Because Google, of course, wants to show its users the most relevant content, right? That's the whole job of Google, right? And if someone lands on your content and leaves immediately, essentially tells Google that the content that they're searched for and they clicked on is not relevant, so your site's going to rank lower. So, for example, if they search for SEO Marketplace and they click on a link that leads them to, I don't know, a blog, not really what people are looking for. They're looking for vetted, right? So Google will essentially de-rank that blog and rank vetted higher. Of course, it's not just like essentially like that, but it's, you get my point, right? Google wants to show relevant content to its users. Now, to make sure your content matches the user search intent, meaning to make it rank higher, you got to study the first page, right? You got to study what your competition is doing, right? Because your competitors are ranking for a reason, because Google thinks and understands that the content that they're providing their users for a certain key phrases are matching the user search intent, because they're clicking on the sites, staying on the sites for long, reading and buying whatever products or services the sites have to offer. Now, how you do this is to doing research on what the competition is doing, creating content briefs, and only then start creating your content. And I got to do a small call to action here for a service on Vetted by Diogo. And essentially what he does is exactly what I just told you, right? He will go out and build a content brief. He has an amazing review here from this buyer right here. And it's amazing what he does, right? It's not just boring content writing. It is exactly what you need for a something like this, right? For this type of strategy to match these searches in user search intent. It is a content brief. I'll leave a link for this in the description. My goal with this video is not to promote this, but I felt like it was necessary to give you some guidance if you want to do something like this, where you can find someone to help you out with that, right? Now, moving on to number 7, it is important to have an holistic approach to SEO, and that's exactly what they're doing. Holistic means well-rounded, right? On-page, off-page, and technical. And I won't go over the on-page or off-page because this will be a very long video, but off-page is essentially the links you build. On-page is how you develop the content, what's written in there, keyword research, all that. But one important thing about the technical SEO is here. There are meta titles and meta descriptions. For example, these are search results from Google, right? What you can see here is that these meta titles and meta descriptions are optimized, right? Not just for search, for ranking higher on Google, because they have some of the keywords sprinkled both in the meta title and meta description, but all of these are enticing to click on, right? Just like a YouTube video thumbnail, you gotta make sure that these are enticing to click on. And all these are, right? How to launch a successful lifestyle business. 7 incredible websites ideas, turn your hobbies into whatever. 3 surprising insights from analyzing 1.8 million Instagram accounts, right? So all of these are well crafted into getting people to click on them, right? So it's not just about off-page, on-page, little technical things like schema markup and all that. It's also about these little creative things that essentially can push people to click your blog and, of course, get more traffic to it. So these essentially optimize your click-through rate, because not only are they optimized for Google to get their blog post ranking higher, but also for clicks. Super, super important. And number 8, finally, what I mentioned before, is having clear and multiple calls to action. For example, if you go on AppSumo's blog right here, you can see a whole bunch of calls to action, right? First of all, this one right here, that's 1. That's 2 for their email list. That's 3 for their marketplace, for their listings. In the middle, there's a bunch more listings here. Again, these links to all their listings, the marketplace, their products, the things that they're trying to sell you with the blog. Keep on scrolling down. That's an external link. If you keep on scrolling down, right here, these are AppSumo source, so internal link for appsumo.com. So it's not just the boring blog with just text, right? Because the goal here is not just have the user read the blog, right? Yes, of course, you want them to read, but the end goal is to get them to buy your product or service. And that's one thing that AppSumo is doing great. They have call to actions all around, so that when they can, again, this is another internal link, they link people to their product pages, which is, of course, what they're trying to sell, right? They're trying to convert all of these 15%, which are millions of people every single month, into buying their products. And for that, you have to have all this, and of course, clear and multiple call to actions on the actual content people are reading, either to your newsletter, because then you can target them to the newsletter and show them products through emails, or just directly linking them to products from here, right? So super, super important. Number 8, all these are very important. That's essentially how AppSumo is growing and grew their organic traffic into not just numbers, right? Because You can get 1 million views, but if you're making $0, sorry, doesn't really matter. You're gonna make money with the traffic you're getting. So very clever way for AppSumo to essentially monetize their blog and use it, all the traffic they're getting, in converting it into paid customers. And that's it. That's the video for today. If you're interested in creating a site like AppSumo, so a listing site where you can list software or houses or people or whatever you want, I'll leave a link for this in the description. This is something we're launching. I will give you a $99 lifetime deal, right? One directory website, 0 transaction fees, unlimited listings, unlimited users. You can even connect it with your custom domain. It has a blog attached to it. So just like AppSumo has here a blog attached to it, right? That brings in traffic to the listing site. Because yes, you can have a listing site, but if you don't market it, if you don't get traffic to it, it's pointless, right? We'll hook you up with a native blog which can post content automatically if you want. It is always SEO optimized. You can integrate Google Ads, all that. And we also have you onboarded with dedicated SEO expert to help you monetize the website, because in the end it's all about the money. So yeah, that's it. You can grab that here if you want. And if you ever need SEO for your listing site or for any other of your SEO business projects, you can go to vetted.com. This is my business where you can essentially invest and have an SEO expert actually taking your business to the next level. You can, of course, invest in 3 things here: the productized services, so links, content, analysis, all that. You can also invest in an SEO's time by booking consulting calls with them. So if you just click here on this Vetted Professionals button, it will take you to this page where you can book a call, for example, with Bradley, with me, with Ron, with Liam. So all these accept consulting calls. Or if you need more of a tailored SEO strategy, so if you're not looking to buy these productized services from the marketplace, we can also connect you with an SEO expert, a vetted SEO expert, to develop an A to Z tailored SEO strategy that includes on-page SEO, off-page SEO, and technical SEO. You can just go here, book a call with me, and we'll go from there. We have a lot of results here from previous businesses. So that's that. Again, if you want to create a business like AppSumo, listing website, I'll leave a link for this in the description. Thank you so much for watching. These are a bit of a long form videos. Hopefully you like them. You like these breakdowns. Thank you so much for watching. Like, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one. Cheers. Right, so you've probably heard of Product Hunt. If you haven't, they're one of the most successful listing sites on the internet. And in today's video, I want to break down their SEO strategy and show you exactly how a quote-unquote simple business model that it is a listing website had such a great success in acquiring 100 million backlinks and leveraging UGC, so user-generated content, for acquiring organic traffic. So essentially relying on their own users to drive traffic to their platform. So it's super interesting. So let's break it down. For this, I'm going to be using a couple of tools, this one, and of course, Ahrefs. So let's get started with it. So first things first, what is Product Hunt? Essentially, it is a site where people, mostly indie hackers and people building their own small products, mostly software, can list their products here. As you can see, you can upvote them, you can see what they are, a little description, some images, and then there's the whole community aspect of it, which in my opinion is one of the most important factors of a listing website. It's not just the listings, but the community around it. And a bit of a tangent here, in the future, because of the commoditization of developers and all that, I really think that the businesses that will thrive are the ones that are heavily based around communities, around people, essentially. So moving on, that's Product Hunt. Pretty straightforward, quite a simple product. Of course, when I say simple, it doesn't mean that anyone can create a business like this. It's very, very hard, but the whole concept of how it works is somewhat simple. Now, simple doesn't mean easy, of course. Okay, so let's break it down. How do they acquire 100 million backlinks? That's a crazy amount of backlinks, and you can see here from Ahrefs that the number of backlinks that they have, and of course they've been around for a while, is close to 100 million. And if you don't do SEO, or if you're not really into the internet space, 100 million backlinks is a whole lot. So let's break it down. It's quite simple and an interesting strategy. So for example, when you go to any of these products, when you click any of these products, and I just click this one, right, you can visit their site. All of these ones, all these of course have a link to the, this was a ad. All these have a link to the product site, right? And on this site, if you scroll down to the bottom, these ones have it here, but if you scroll down to the bottom, you'll see the Product Hunt badge, right? And this is what Product Hunt came up with, the badge. And this is similar to the Trustpilot badge, right? If you go to a restaurant site or any other type of site that wants to convey trust, most of them display the Trustpilot badge, right? Because people and users trust Trustpilot, right? It gives the business that's displaying it 3 things. 1 is social credit, 2 is authority, and 3 is pride, right? website owners and business owners are proud to present their Trustpilot reviews, right? We have almost a 5-star rating on Trustpilot. And business owners are proud because they know that users rely heavily and trust heavily Trustpilot. So businesses are proud to display it. Then, of course, it gives them authority, right? If customers trust Trustpilot, it gives a business authority to display high-scored Trustpilot review score, right? Only makes sense. And, of course, social credit as well. Now, what Product Hunt did was replicate Trustpilot's badge in a way, right? But tailor it to these little software projects. Again, if you go to this website, for example, just to show you the random one, they have all these down here. They have ones for G2 as well. If you don't know, G2 essentially is a website that compares different types of softwares, right? So G2 is similar in doing the same thing, right? They're acquiring backlinks, and I'm sure they have hundreds of million backlinks as well, because they have hundreds of million products here, and people are proudly displaying their little badges. And all these ones, right? It's something that business owners are proud of, that conveys trust to the product, because people and users trust Trustpilot, and people and users trust Product Hunt too, right? So this was how they were able to acquire 100 million backlinks, right? Most of these backlinks come from their own users. So they're UGC, user-generated content created backlinks, right? So as a listing website, right? Because essentially Product Hunt is a listing website. They're leveraging their own users to give them backlinks. So it's essentially a circle, right? A closed circle. So people go on Product Hunt, right? They list their product, then Product Hunt links out to their user site, but then they link back to theirs, right? So it's an infinite loop. And that's how they're able to leverage their own users to build 100 million backlinks, right? Super, super interesting, super, super powerful. Now, that's the first thing I wanted to cover. Now, let's go over how exactly they're leveraging UGC for organic traffic, right? We have a lot to cover here. So you might see that for all their listings, they have a /alternative and /question pages. I'm going to show you those right now. So if we go here, for example, to Ahrefs, we see that a lot of these pages get 100, 600, 500, 400. So a lot of these /alternative pages, which they have a bunch of them, actually they have one for every single product, get a lot of traffic. Of course, if you add all this up, it's a lot of traffic. Now what they're doing is they're creating alternative pages, as you can see here, /alternatives, for all the tools they have. Now, of course, not all the tools are that popular, so not all the tools are tools where people search for alternatives in, but because they're doing it for all of their tools, eventually the more popular, or some tools will pop off, becoming the more popular ones, and people will eventually search for alternatives. For example, I personally use remove background, remove.bg. It's a great tool, a free tool to remove a background, right? And let's say maybe I'm not really happy with the tool, maybe it's too expensive, maybe I don't like the quality, I don't know. I'm bound to search for an alternative, and Product Hunt is capitalizing on all of this, right? All of these alternative pages, right? Which you'd think, how many people search for, I don't know, resume worded to alternatives, or I don't know, carted to alternatives. I don't even know what this product is, but some people know what it is, right? So it's important to capitalize on that. And that's exactly what they're doing with every single product of theirs. Now, what's more interesting is that on these alternative pages, they're linking to alternatives that are inside of Product Hunt. So they keep people inside of Product Hunt, right? It's an infinite circle. Super, super interesting. Now, if it were me, I would add a bit more juice to these pages, maybe add here a FAQ on exactly what the tool does, all that, to give just the pages a bit more juice. Now, speaking of FAQ, something else that they're doing, which I mentioned here, is questions, right? They have FAQs for all their products. If you go to producthunt.com/questions, right, you can see here this is infinite, right? This is infinite. This is like where they aggregate all of their, actually, maybe not infinite, maybe not, it's just not loading, but this is where they aggregate all or the more popular FAQs every single product listing has. For example, if I click this one, and this one, these all lead me to the FAQ page for a certain product, right? Arbus sleep buds too safe. If you click here, this comes from this product page, right? Again, this is a bigger brand, but you get my point, right? All of these, I'm going to try to open a smaller brand, for example, Glowforge last, right? What's this? This is a maybe lesser known product, but all these FAQs come from the product pages, right? So they're aggregating all these questions that people might have. Again, people that use these products that you might think that not many people use them, right? Just like the /alternatives pages, but the same people that are searching for alternatives may be also searching for questions for a specific product, right? And if we do this, you can see that the amount of traffic they're getting is huge, right? All these pages, the /questions pages, are getting a bunch of traffic, right? If you all add all these up, and these, not just about the traffic number here, it's about the search intent, right? Because people searching for alternatives or questions related to a certain product are people that are more willing to purchase something. Now that's super, super important. Something that's often overlooked is the search intent, right? Super, super important to know and target keywords that are buyer driven, right? And again, / the alternatives pages and the questions pages are target keywords for people that are most likely wanting to buy or essentially buy something, right? Because why would you be searching for questions for a certain product or alternatives for a certain product if you weren't looking to at least give it a chance, right? So super, super interesting what they're doing with the / questions here as well. Now moving on, and again, I guess the blog is a given, right? All sites should have a blog. Now they also have a blog right here. They target multiple different topics around tech mostly, and if you go here, they call it stories, they don't call it blog. Their blog is getting almost 5,000 impressions. 1,200 organic traffic every single month. Now I did see that they only started really ramping up the blog this year, which is interesting, right? You can see clear move up right here. I'm sure they started pumping up a bit more content, but it's always a valuable thing to do, right? Because yes, blogs, or in this case stories, usually the content on here is less, talking about search intent now, is less buyer intensive, I guess, but it's still a great way to drive people to the brand, collect emails right here, of course, and then retarget the people. So it's super, super important to have a blog, even though the blog is more for informational based content. So that's what they're doing here with their blog pages. And that's essentially how Product Hunt has developed a SEO strategy that grew them to 100+ million backlinks, a domain rating of 91, which means essentially that it is a super, super powerful domain, organic traffic of almost 900,000 a month, and they were sold to AngelList in 2016 by $20 million, right? That was 6 years ago. So you can imagine how much they're worth now. It must be much higher than 20 million, but super interesting what they've done. Super interesting that they're leveraging their own community, both for backlinks and for content as well. And the most interesting thing, in my opinion, is that it is a quote-unquote simple, not easy business model, but it is a listing site. It all boils down to listing, because Product Hunt essentially is a site where people, not them, right, not Product Hunt, but people, users, list their own products, and then Product Hunt monetizes this how they want. So some sites take a fee, some sites ask you to pay a fee to list your product here, right? There's a different bunch of ways to monetize your listing website, but I won't go dive too deep into that. I just recorded the video on Airbnb. They monetize it through transaction fees, but they're more of a marketplace style listing website. But yeah, and of course, still super interesting to take a look at behind their SEO strategy and what they're doing, the backlinks they've acquired. So again, not all the backlinks come from their users, so not all of them are UGC. Some of them, for example, this one comes from WordPress, a bunch of ones come from Reddit, GitHub. So they have very, very powerful backlinks that don't come necessarily from their users, but most of them will come from the users, right? By the way, this tool, it's a good tool if you want to start diving into the SEO world to get some key insights on any domain. But the true value of this is this keyword rank tracker right here, which essentially allows you to add unlimited keywords and track unlimited keywords for unlimited domains. So super, super valuable. If you do SEO, any type of SEO, and you're not tracking your progress, you're doing something wrong. It's very, very important to track your keywords, because if you don't track your keywords, right, if you don't measure it, because you cannot track what you don't measure, you won't be certain that the backlinks you build, the content you created in your SEO strategy, the optimizations you did, the technical optimizations are having any effect if you're not targeting your keywords. I have your example, you can see here some of the keywords here for vetted.com. This just serves as an example, but yeah, some of these are ranking. Again, I did want to mention this in this short video. Yeah, that's it. If you're interested somewhat in learning how to create, not learning, but actually creating a listing site like Product Hunt, I'll leave a link for this in the description. We're just developing this right now. We'll give you a lifetime access for this service, which essentially in a couple of minutes allows you to create a direct to your website with zero transaction fees, unlimited listings, users, all that, connecting your domain. Essentially allows you to dive into the business of creating a listing website and making money with it. That's our offer. That's what I wanted to let you know before I go. So I'll leave a link for this in the description if you're interested again into diving a bit into this world of business and listing website business. That's that. And of course, once you're up and running, once your site is up and running, so your directory site is up and running, you're going to need some SEO. You're going to need to get some organic traffic to it. Of course, yes, paid traffic is also a good thing, but organic traffic is also great. So for that, you can use veto.com. You have a bunch of professionals here that know what they're doing. You can buy backlinks, you can buy content. You can have someone develop a tailored SEO strategy for you to rank your listing site higher and higher. So yeah, that's it for now. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you all on the next one. Cheers. This website called SmallPDF.com, which essentially provides PDF tools to convert PDF files to Word and vice versa, and some other tools I'll go over in just a second, is one of the 200 most visited websites in the internet with over 50 million active users every single month. He's just acquired a Swiss-owned PDF tool for a cash consideration of $30 million, right? So this PDF toolkit right here has acquired another PDF little toolkit for $30 million. So you can just imagine how much money these guys are making. And in this video, I want to break down their SEO strategy. I'm going to go over their traffic as well. As you can see here, almost 25 million visitors every single month, right? All this mostly come from organic, as we can see down here, right? 70% of their traffic comes from organic. So they have a very, very aggressive SEO strategy. They also have around 1.4 million backlinks, right? So let's just go over what they are. Essentially what they are, they have a bunch of tools here, is they allow you to compress PDFs, convert PDF into any other type of document, scan PDFs, split PDFs, merge PDFs. You can see here, they have the whole list kit of PDF tools, right? A super niche but highly profitable tool right here, right? And as you can see here, it is based on a $22 billion global document management market. So if you didn't know, apparently I didn't know as well, but the whole global market for document management is worth $22 billion, and SmallPDF.com is capturing on that very, very profitably. So with that being said, let's go over how they're making this much money by essentially leveraging organic search engines like Bing or Google to bring in traffic to their site. So first things first, and I'll leave a link for this tool in the description if you want to use it. You get access to a bunch of SEO data. We also allow you to track unlimited keyword here. So if you're looking for a keyword rank tracker, this one is perfect because you can track unlimited keywords. So yeah, if you go down here, of course, 80,000 organic keywords, 1.4 million backlinks, 31,000 referring domains, and a domain authority of 74. So they've been around for a while. They have a lot of backlinks, a lot of traffic. So they've been able to build up this authority in Google's eyes. Now, top keywords here. Before we look at the top keywords, let us look at the top pages, because this is where they're actually making their money, right? So if I just zoom here right now, as you can see, they have dedicated pages to every one of their tools. PDF to Word, merge PDF, PDF to JPEG, right? All these come from these little pages. As you can see here, PDF to Word, right? So again, edit PDF, JPEG to PDF, Word to PDF, compressed PDF, PDF converter, right? All of these little tools inside of this PDF ecosystem have dedicated pages to them. And the traffic is insane. 60,000 people every single month come to this page by searching for PDF to Word and a bunch of other keywords that go directly here. And as you can see here, this page is very well optimized for that. First things first, in terms of user optimization, this is very smart, right? There's no ads, you don't have to scroll down to just find where you upload the file. It's just here above the fold. You click it, you add the files, right? If you just use this little plugin right here, which I'll link in the description as well, we can see the meta title is Convert PDF to Word for free, right? Super simple, and it is what people are searching for. This page matches people's search intent with then a branded mention here. Again, meta description is Convert the PDF to Word online for free. Right? They even sprinkle a couple of more keywords here, but super simple, super straight to the point. Headings, of course, the age one is going to be PDF to Word converter, right? People are searching for this, and this page is highly optimized for that, right? So if we keep on scrolling down, this is where the page gains more relevancy, right? They have the explanation of the tool here with, of course, some internal links right here, right? Making sure the power flows through the other pages, and then a little tutorial here, another tutorial right here, social proof, and then calls to action to the other tools. Super simple, slim page, not the prettiest of all, but it converts very, very well. And again, they have pages for all of these. All of these have the same type of page with the same H1s. Actually, this one is a bit different, but more or less the same. This one, I'm assuming this one was made later on. Yeah, so these ones are a bit more like the same. But yeah, essentially all these pages are the same. H1s, meta titles, the exact match keyword. They sprinkle a bunch of other keywords here. H1 is of course the main keyword. All these are super simple with a clear call to action here, right? Super simple. Also, one thing that's very important, when people search for a compressed PDF online, there are going to be a lot of sites that do this, because this is not hard to do, right? But one thing you want to do with your content, when you're creating content, whether that's a simple page like this or an actual blog content, you want to increase the dwell time, so the amount of time people spend on the page before they go back, and decrease the bounce rate. Because if people just come into your site and they cannot find this, because all the people that are searching for this, they want to find this. This is what they need. They just want to do this. They don't care about all this. People don't care about this, right? Most people won't even scroll down. This is just to give the page relevancy in Google's eyes and in search engine's eyes, right? You need to provide them with this, because if they don't see it right away, they're going to go back and click the second result until they click one that shows them right away what they want to see. And if this happens a lot to you, eventually your site's going to start ranking down and down and down, because Google wants to provide its users with search results that they spend a lot of time in, right? Because if they spend a lot of time in the result, whether that's reading a blog or using a tool, it means that Google was able to achieve their purpose, which is essentially connecting users and their search queries with results that provide quality content to their search intent. And that means, of course, people spending time on the page more and more, right? So all of these pages have dedicated all these tools have dedicated pages to it, which is super interesting to see, and they're of course very well optimized to rank for them, right? So that's the first thing, it's tailoring, and this is similar to what Canva does. I'll have a video on that as well on the channel, similar to what Airbnb does as well. So all these big companies are more or less doing the same, this sort of programmatic SEO approach to SEO, which is quite interesting, right? So let me just close all these ones. And if we go back here to my little tool, campaigns tool, we of course can take a look at the keywords, top tier rankings, a PDF to Word, PDF to JPEG, JPEG to PDF, PDF editor. So the domain, of course, and the whole brand ecosystem is very niche down to PDF something, right? The whole point of this business is PDF something. They even say we make PDF easy, right? Super, super interesting. Now we do see that, of course, some competitors are gaining market share. For example, ilovepdf.com essentially does the same thing, right? They're the same thing. It is a simple product. In the end of the day, it is a simple product. And again, they have split PDF. They have dedicated pages to things you can do with PDFs. Now, these aren't that well optimized, because you can see I cannot scroll down, right? If I click on the merge PDF tool, I cannot scroll down. They're not trying to optimize these pages for the search engines, right? Because there's no content on these. They are very thin pages, right? So if I were them, of course, I would, of course, make sure these pages have a bit more juice, just like the ones on here. They don't have to have much, but they explain what it is and give it a bit more context for search engines to rank these pages higher. Now, if we go here to backlinks, we can see that some of them come from GitHub, some of them even come from Apple Maps, and let me open here a couple more, Wikipedia, and of course Reddit. This is a very shareable type of tool, right? These are helpful tools and insightful little tools that can help work with anything. Of course, ones come from Apple from their Apple application, iOS application. I'm not sure where this one comes from, and a bunch of them come from Reddit again, because this is a very shareable piece of equipment, a very shareable tool. But the biggest thing they're doing is having dedicated pages to each one of their little tools inside of this niche that are, of course, well optimized for search, just like we saw here with the proper meta title, proper meta description, proper headings, right? Images, of course, there are some without alt text, but this is an easy fix. They most likely know what they're doing. But short video today, I guess I just wanted to show you the power that search engines can have in business, because these guys, and this is not often that we see this, often most of the times the direct traffic is the highest amount right here, but on these guys, 70% of their traffic, of their money makers, come from search engines. And that's very interesting, very powerful. Yeah, that's it. Short one today. Hopefully you like it. By the way, if you want to use this tool, I'll leave a link in the description for it. Again, you can have access to a bunch of SEO data, backlinks, top keywords. You can even put a competitor URL here and track their keywords, track their backlinks, track all that. It also give you access to a keyword rank tracker, which you can track unlimited keywords. And also, by the way, you've seen me probably building out and doing some case studies on directory sites, marketplaces like the one we have here, like Vetted. I'm sure by now you already know I'm the owner of Vetted, essentially a marketplace listing site. If you want to build something similar like a listing website, we just started this. We're just seeing if people are interested. If you are, we give you access to a tool that lets you build a online directory, listing, marketplace type of site. It is 100% refundable, so you pay $99 for life, right? To give you access to the software for life that allows you to build an actual listing website. If you don't like it, just refund you. We just want to get some people on here before we actually start developing this further. That's it. Also, I got to plug this little tool, journalist tool. It allows you to create AI content in mass in any language, English, Portuguese, Spanish, Danish, whatever you want for your business, tailored to your business, and also allow you to have an automated blog. So essentially a blog that allows you to essentially in seconds have a little blog up with content auto posting to it every couple of hours. You can choose the frequency. If you want to post 10 posts an hour, you can, 100 posts a day, whatever it is. With the simple click of a button, you can have a blog just like this one up and running. That's it. Again, I'll leave links for all this in the description. This one, the little tool, Vetted as well, and this one. Thank you so much for watching, and I'll catch you on the next one. Cheers.